folks, Papa Boris here playing some more leaders. We're up against Kchalet, who is from France, and this game is really popular. If you look at the ratings for this game, almost all the players are from France. So it's kind of interesting because I'm not sure why that would be. I mean, the designer is French, but you know, this game came out on Board Game Arena, so I'm not sure why that would just mean only French people were playing. But in any case, we have another French person, and he's first, so I'm curious what he'll take. Probably not the Nemesis. So depends on if he wants the Royal Guard for some surprise action or a Manipulator for some long range. He goes for the Manipulator. If I step up with the leader, as I so often do, then my opponent can step up with the leader, teleport the Royal Guard here, and get the Royal Guard right in my leader's face. So maybe we don't need to do that, because the enemy leader wouldn't even be that vulnerable there. So what I'm going to do here is, I mean, it's actually just, Royal Guards is just such a strong opening, because I could, of course, you know, step to the side, but still the leader can chase me and the Royal Guard can still get right up in my face. So the question is, it looks like I'm having the same game as last time. We're getting the Manipulator and the Brewmaster, and I didn't really like the way that I set up my opening last time. So what we want to do is be able to move the Manipulator here with the Brewmaster sitting here. So I'm going to try this out. We're going to try it like this, and we're going to put the Manipulator... Well, here's the thing, right? If I move the Manipulator, that I cannot manipulate. So I'm not really sure I'm getting much out of this. Hold on. Oh, I can't go back once I start the recruitment phase. Okay, we're just going to put the Manipulator opposite the leader, and we actually have the chance now to take the Wanderer. I'm going to grab the Wanderer here. The reason for this is partially for offense, because the Wanderer can get very close to the enemy leader, but it's also partially for defense, because with the Royal Guard getting really close to my leader right away, and then also my opponent taking the Wanderer, this could just be a lot of pressure in a hurry. So I want the Wanderer just to have somebody near the enemy leader so that my opponent doesn't go crazy with the Royal Guard tactics. Now my opponent got the Illusionist, which is going to be a big honking pain to deal with. Oh, my opponent decided to take a very measured approach, just teleporting the Royal Leader up one space and then moving the Royal Leader or the Royal Guard one space after that. So that is a very modest gain. The Royal Guard could have been right here. My opponent grabs the Illusionist. This is the one who can swap places. So of course now checkmate is threatened, so I gotta get my king out of this row. Yeah, boy, this is kind of a tough one, because I could of course manipulate the Royal Guard, but there's no point because the Royal Guard can always teleport back to the leader. So there's not a whole lot of value. What I could do is move my leader this way and then move the Illusionist in, but that doesn't do much because the leader can just step out and then or move my Manipulator, and then the Illusionist can swap places. But then, of course, my own thing would be nearby. I could Wanderer right here, and that would at least put the Illusionist... block the Illusionist's ability to swap with my leader. On the other hand, if the Illusionist then swaps in, I'm not sure that I really profit from this. Oh boy, it's a tough one. My opponent's putting a lot of tough decisions to me. What I'm going to do is I'll jump here just to be near the enemy leader. And maybe actually I'll do an even more extreme version of this. Maybe we're going to just go right there. And that way my opponent might be more encouraged to go into the middle because they don't want to get next to my character over here. I will move my leader out of the way of the Illusionist, but I'm going to keep my Illusionist in the middle. Actually, you know what I need to do then? What would make more sense is to have my Illusionist or my Manipulator move up and then the leader go behind like this. So now my Manipulator's still in the middle, so the leader doesn't maybe want to go there, but my leader is safe and tucked back in here. Now the question is, what do I want to draft? Well, I don't think I can... I'm not in a strong enough position for the Nemesis. Like, yes, the enemy leader needs to run, but I don't think the Nemesis is going to get there in time to really matter. And the Jailer is fun and all, but we're going to grab the... Like, I could put the Jailer near the Illusionist or the Royal Guard, and then they can't use their special abilities. That would actually be pretty strong. But I think we're going to go for the Brewmaster still. Try to give the enemy a kick when possible. The question is, where do I want to put this Brewmaster? I think I'm going to put it on the opposite side of the Illusionist. I don't really want to make it easy for my opponent. Like, I don't want to put the Brewmaster here and have to, like, cross this line in order to get to the enemy leader. So we'll just stick it over here. Okay, we get the archer, which is a strong one. I'm guessing that's what my opponent's going to take here. So now, the Wanderer, of course, wow, I was not expecting this. I thought with the Wanderer that my opponent would start to play much less aggressively. But the leader is still moving up. Oh boy, that's just really tempting for me now to take the Nemesis. Like, nyeh! You want to move your leader? Well, I chase you. But also, I like, that's the thing, is even in a situation like this where the opponent's playing very aggressively with their leader, it's still like, wow, the Nemesis? Oh dear. Well, my opponent should probably not have done that. Okay, so now I see what the way the wheels are turning. Like, oh, my opponent needs to get the illusionist, the leader, off of this line. So, you know, then the Nemesis moves, but I still think that that's not good because the Nemesis will move once and then the Nemesis will be stuck basically at that point. Okay, so I just need to make sure that my opponent can't checkmate me, and this should be fine as long as my manipulator and leader both move off. So yeah, we'll just... Do I even put the Wanderer next to the leader? I suppose I should probably. And then we need to move the leader off. I guess I'll move it away from the... Well, it's a tricky call. I could move it away from the Nemesis, but I could also try moving it away from the leader. But I really just don't think my opponent can checkmate me with the leader and with the Royal Guard fast enough. I just don't think it's going to happen. So we'll let the Nemesis move here. Okay, so the Nemesis gets in there. And now we'll put the manipulator here. And we'll get the Brewmaster into the fray. And the question is, what am I going to take? So the Hermit and Cub is, generally the strongest character here. But the Archer could be really helpful because I already have a character basically stuck like glue to the enemy leader. So having someone who can get at the enemy leader from range seems like it could be pretty potent. All right, we're going to try it. I could be wrong about this. The question is, where do I put the Archer? Well, I think the enemy leader has to run this way. So I'm going to put the Archer back here behind the Brewmaster. And maybe I even messed up with how I moved. Maybe I should have put the Brewmaster here or here. Then I could have given the Archer a kick with the Brewmaster and gotten the Archer in an extra square. So actually, yeah, that was a little bit of a misplay on my part. I should have made it possible for the Archer to get to this square. On the other hand, there's a chance I could checkmate an enemy if they're not careful, because if the leader moves here, then I can actually give the Archer a kick with the Brewmaster and then get to this square, and from this square I'm still threatening the leader. So it's actually, it's a little bit of a puzzle here how my opponent stops checkmate now that I think about it. Can you swap places with... Yeah, you can... So the Illusionist could swap places with the Royal Guard, though that doesn't really accomplish anything. Either way, there's just a piece in one of those spots. So, the Royal Guard... Yeah, I don't know, man. Because if the leader goes in either of these two spots, this square is good enough for the Archer to reach it. So... And then they would have needed to be able to put a piece on the square, but there is no piece they can put on this square. They can't put the Wanderer there because that's adjacent to the Brewmaster, and they can't put the Royal Guard there because this Nemesis is in the way. If the Nemesis were not here, the enemy leader could have gone there, and then the Royal... Oh no, well, okay, so you could now put some... What? Oh! I did not see that. Wow, that's smart. Oh my God, I did not see that at all. Kudos to my opponent. That was nowhere near my radar. Switching with the leader protectively. Holy moly. Okay, good play. That was fantastic. All right, so now I had visions of checkmate in my mind, but those are going to have to wait for a little bit here because I now find myself, and my opponent is now going to take the Hermit and Cub probably for some defense. Okay, so we have quite a ball game here. At this point, My opponent is going to try to come down with the Hermit to checkmate me with that and the Guard, and of course the Illusionist is also here to help in these efforts. Well, there's not much for it. I am going to get in here with the Wanderer. And so we need to now get another piece next to the enemy king. So the way to do that is we're going to give the archer a nudge. And we're going to just keep on heading towards that king with the archer and try to do checkmate with the archer and the wanderer. Now, do I want to move the illusionist is the question. I think probably. I think that would probably be a good idea. You know what? Should I have put the archer here? Oh, I messed up. I should have, instead of moving the archer up like this, can I undo that? Oh my god, I can. Oof. Okay, I think this is a much better place for the archer to be. Because from here, the brewmaster can give it another kick next turn. So now my opponent could, of course, swap places with the brewmaster to stop me from doing that, but then the brewmaster himself gets awfully close to the enemy leader. The question is now, do I want to move my manipulator? The manipulator is defensive in front of my leader here. I'm not really sure if the manipulator could move your own pieces, that would be so good, but alas, they cannot. From here, I'm not really sure what the manipulator can do that the manipulator can't do here. I mean, I guess if the hermit comes over, the manipulator could push him back up. But let's say I move here and the illusionist just goes down, threatening checkmate. Then I don't really have much to do except to... Actually, you know what? When the illusionist comes down here, they're threatening checkmate that way as well. Because then it's the royal guard coming down, and then the illusionist come down in pursuit. So I could put the my manipulator here, but then the illusionist can go here, and then my manipulator can go back in front and protect against checkmate that way. So there is some sense to doing this. Okay, I'm going to try this. Could be wrong. My leader is obviously very exposed. I could move it and let the nemesis move, but I think I'd rather like plug this hole before trying to run with my leader in the opposite direction. So we'll see how my opponent chooses to handle this situation. So now they can swap places with the brewmaster, but then the brewmaster can move out of the way, and then I can use my manipulator to get closer to the archer, to put the king closer to the archer. And they can't use the nemesis to block. They could, however, use the royal guard to block, but if my opponent swaps with the brewmaster and teleports the royal guard back here for defense, now my leader is perfectly safe. It'll just be the hermit and the illusionist who are trying to checkmate. All right, my opponent's going for it. They need to do something here to stop checkmate. That's not stopping it. Uh-oh. Did my opponent miss the checkmate? They might have missed the checkmate. I mean, I think my opponent was in a very difficult spot there, just from the fact that the game let me undo my archer move from here, which would have been, I think, a catastrophic blunder to here. My opponent missed it. All right, well, maybe they didn't miss it. Maybe they know it, and they just thought this was the best try that they had available. But I can kick the archer with the brewmaster, and then the archer just goes in for the kill. Woof! Well, that was a really good game, Kachalat. Very nicely played. I think they're a lot better than this 82 rating would suggest, so very nicely done. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care.